Goodness knows you've been looking long enough. With the Volvo XC90, you've finally found what you've been looking for. A luxury SUV with seating for up to 7 people and loads of cargo space. Not to mention premium technology, including Google Maps, Google Assistant and Google Play. The Volvo XC90 is what you're looking for. Now at special run-out pricing from $99,990 plus on-roads. Visit Volvo Cars and discover why the XC90 is the vehicle for right now.
You're listening to the Weekend Sport Podcast with Jason Pine from News Talk ZB.
Football Ferns have their first games of 2025 in the next few days. They'll meet Costa Rica tomorrow at midday, New Zealand time, and again on Wednesday at 2 o'clock, New Zealand time. Interim head coach Michael Main has appointed an all-new coaching staff for this little tour, including former Football Ferns goalkeeper Jenny Binden as his assistant coach. Now, Jenny Binden played 77 times for the Football Ferns. She appeared at the 2008 and 2012 Olympics, as well as the FIFA Women's World Cups in 2007 and again in 2011. Jenny Binden joins us out of the Football Ferns camp in Costa Rica. Let's start with how you came to be there. Jenny, how did this conversation with Michael Main play out?
Yeah, I think I've known Michael for quite some time, and I stay really close to what's happening with the Ferns. And the opportunity came up for us to have a discussion through mutual friends that, I've always kind of been like, I want to get back involved. If you asked me my dream job, it was always to be back involved with the Ferns in some capacity. And yeah, good conversation, get on really well with him, really believe in what he's trying to do and take the team and progress and get us back up in the top 20 and be ready for 2027. So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, sounds like it's a fairly easy yes for you to jump aboard the Football Ferns. What's the situation, Jenny? Is it a sort of camp to camp, window to window situation, or will you be with the Ferns for the next year, couple of years? What's the situation there?
Yeah, it's camp to camp, and if things work out, who's to know? But right now, we're just really focusing on Costa Rica, and really trying to get the performances that the Ferns need on the pitch, and I'm just take whatever opportunities come my way. And if you would have told me, would you be living in England, 3 years ago, I would have laughed at you. And I live in England now, so I kind of take things as they come. That's kind of how our family operates, and yeah, so. Here with the Ferns, fully committed, want to, give back to a team that has given me so much.
Wonderful stuff. All right. Well, tell us about what the last few days have been like. Your first Football Ferns camp. How have you enjoyed it? And what has the team mainly focused on ahead of these two matches?
Yeah, we're really focusing on, producing on the pitch and what we talk about in our meetings and on whiteboards and on video and really taking a style of football that is going to be successful against this particular team. And I think that's where we're kind of pushing. I think there's a lot of positive things that the Ferns have done. There's things that, we want to keep pushing and move forward and really focus on taking this team where it needs to go. And that's really where we're trying to progress. I said, being back with these girls, getting to connect with Annalie Longo again. I've known Annalie since she was 14, Grace Jelle since she was, 16 years old. So there's quite a few of these girls I've had previous connections with. I think I trained Gio Candy when she was at a national ID center. So there's lots of connections, rekindling those relationships and just trying to be a really positive sounding board for them and their football and them as people and connecting with them, their hearts and why we play this game, If one of the questions we're really focusing on is what would you tell your previous self before you were a professional footballer? I played internationally, but I was never a professional footballer, and the opportunities that these women have and what things that they have done are amazing, and I just want to try to harness those and help them to be the best versions of themselves.
As a former goalkeeper yourself, I know your brief is wider than that, but do you take an added interest in the side's goalkeepers, or do you leave that to the goalkeeping coach, Will Britt, who's come on board as well, or do you still take a fairly keen interest in the side's goalkeepers?
I think that's interesting you make that comment, because I think as a coach that's, been a goalkeeper and now working with the field players, I think there's a real connection there. We jokingly say, You can't play the game without the goalkeeper. So I think it's really connecting those bits and pieces, both in possession and out of possession. And Will's absolutely a mass talent to have here with his knowledge and expertise and what he's done in the game and much he's worked with in the women's game. It's just another person that's out there advocating for future Ferns to play possibly in England or abroad.
So you're ranked higher than Costa Rica currently, and you talked before about trying to get the Ferns back to where you want to be, both in terms of ranking and also performance. Are you targeting wins in both of these matches?
Yeah, I don't. Why, you don't play a game unless you think you're going to win. I mean, what's the point of playing in it, right? So I think that's where the girls are really focusing on themselves as individuals and what they can bring to us being successful, and what we're learning and what we're doing out of this camp or previously in our other club environments. Can we bring those positive attributes into us performing and making it all land on the pitch? I think that's really important, Jason. I think that's kind of what we need to do as the Ferns, is get back to being a team that's hard to beat, that's connected, creating opportunities and winning games.
And you might not soon be the most famous Bindon in the family, because son Tyler, of course, is very quickly making a name for himself. A move to the Premier League. Well, he's back on loan at Reading, of course, but with Nottingham Forest. This week named Sky Sport Emerging Talent Winner at the Hellbergs. How proud are you of what Tyler is doing right now?
Oh, it's just unbelievable. Grant and I, my husband and I, are just so... you got to pinch yourself. It's overwhelming, but if you ever meet him, he's a very humble gentleman who just gets on about his business. And, I think he's grown up around New Zealand football and it's a passion. He had the opportunity he had to make a decision of who he was playing for, and it was never really in doubt. I mean, we love New Zealand, love the Kiwis, and New Zealand football plays a massive part in our hearts. I mean, some of these girls that are here in this camp, like I've already mentioned, Annalee, they probably taught him how to dribble and and juggle and do all those things. So a lot of people, it's been a village, family, friends, so many people have been involved in Tyler's successes, and Ryan and Duncan being involved with him, and now Tony Reddings is assistant coach. He coached me, Roland Jeffries. It's just amazing to see, and we're just so proud of him. And I hope one day you get to interview him and you'll see he's just class act, a humble guy that just takes it all in stride. Yeah,
well, I look forward to that day. I mean, good genes, yourself and obviously your husband Grant, his dad, captain the New Zealand volleyball team. Did you encourage him along a sporting path, or was it one that he just naturally travelled with you two as his parents?
Yeah, I think football was kind of something he was around a lot, but he would go from football training to volleyball. And I think one time we counted, New Zealand is amazing how they give kids so many opportunities with sports days and that. And Tyler would have played, I think, anywhere from 15 to 17 different sports. And he just gravitated to football. And then those opportunities came up when he went to Los Angeles and he got to play with, LAFC. And then, it just kind of just gravitated, pulled him towards him. I mean, I think he's a bit of a sports Billy. Many sports he can't play. So, but football is his true passion, his true love. And yeah, he's doing all right at it.
He certainly is. Well, look forward to seeing him, I would imagine, all things being equal, back here in New Zealand for the upcoming Oceania World Cup qualifiers. In the meantime, Jenny, for you and the Football Ferns, these two matches against Costa Rica, look very much forward to seeing how you go in those matches. Thanks so much for taking the time for a chat today.
No worries. Thank you so much, Jason. I hope we can talk again.
I hope so too, Jenny. Thanks indeed. Jenny Binden, former Football Ferns goalkeeper, 77 caps, couple of World Cups, couple of Olympic Games. Now a coach. She actually coaches at Reading, which is where Tyler is, but has been called in by Michael Main as an assistant coach for these two matches. Costa Rica tomorrow at midday and on Wednesday at 2 o'clock. Those are New Zealand time kickoffs. Now, they differ from what you may have seen earlier, so if you're keen on catching these games, midday tomorrow and 2 o'clock on Wednesday.
For more from Weekend Sport with Jason Pine, listen live to News Talk ZB weekends from midday or follow the podcast on iHeartRadio.
For a few years in the 1970s, the Mr. Asia Syndicate made millions.
Heroin creates its own market. It acts like a form of plague.
Until jealousy, betrayal, and murder brought it all crashing down.
Then he just pulled out a gun, shot her in the back of the head, and then said to Wayne, "You're going to help me bury her." This is Mr. Asia, A Forgotten History. First 3 episodes available now on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.